Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching and Self-Reliance You. Always remember your dreams, your goals, your life, and your career are all essential. A big thank you to over 370 people that have subscribed to this channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. I have a guy that I really very, very fond of. We hit it off as soon as we met each other, at least from my perspective, hopefully on his too. Coach Gary Duke, who does a great job with coaching kids of a variety of ages. So welcome, Coach, and tell us a little about yourself, your story, and I appreciate you being here.
Hey, Tim, thanks for having me. I actually graduated 1995 from Northeastern High School. I actually played baseball back when I was in school as well. Kind of gave up the sport a little bit, went different directions. I actually played basketball as well. Then I actually ended up having two kids, which are 7 and 8 right now. And they got into baseball. And that's kind of what brought me back into the sport. Took me right back into, pretty much trying to lead my boys to good sportsmanship, understand the baseball game, the fundamentals, and trying to bring them along into the sport.
Well, fantastic. What were some of the things when you were coming up through? You said you played some basketball and some baseball and that type of thing. What were some of the main life lessons, Coach, that you kind of learned as you were coming up?
Well, I graduated back in 95, so the sports are totally different now than what they were then. Back when I played, it was kind of like you were in a sport. And then when that season was over, you jumped into another one, where now it's sort of like you can play baseball all year long, you can play basketball all year long. So it is a little tougher now with getting the kids to come out to participate in other sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to lead my kids into that as well. Like, I don't want them to take away from a sport. So it is tough there. But I am trying to, move them along in baseball as well.
Good. Well, and what's interesting, and one of the things I say to kids, because I coach the guys and girls tennis team up at Northeastern, when I'm talking to other kids that are good athletes in other sports, one of the things I try to get across to them, or at least their parents, is this idea of overuse as far as a particular sport is concerned. So if you're involved with just every single time of just hammering the same muscles year round, you really do increase your chance potentially of having some injuries that way. So I think being another sport, kind of a cross training type thing, is definitely a benefit for the body for sure. Would you agree with that?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I definitely think they should, especially being young, like my kids, like I said, are 7 and 8. So definitely getting them in different sports and activities. They're very active as they are, being young. It definitely helps to get them in different sports. I know my kids just got done with flag football. My oldest, he can take or leave it. My youngest now wants to play tackle. Mom's not too keen on it, but you can get hurt in baseball. You can get hurt in tennis, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be mentally and physically in this sport if you want to pursue it.
Sure. And I guess your two boys and my grandson, Griffin Muller, they play together. And tell us about that camaraderie between those three boys.
I always try to get Griffin, and somehow it just never works out on my team. The other coaches snag him up. Griff's an awesome player. There's no doubt. And that's why he gets, snagged up by every other coach. I try to keep my two kids on my team, obviously, to make it, easier for practices and stuff like that. But yeah, now we are getting into all-stars, and which you were there the other day, and it's just the fundamentals are there, the talent's there. It's definitely a good thing that we have going on.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. it's what have you what other age groups have you coached, Gary?
I actually, like I said, I was out of baseball for a while, and we actually were at another organization back when my kid was 4. I think they were 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, right around there.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, and when you come to my practices and games, you see I'm very intense. I'm into the games. I do it all volunteer. So my deal is I treat every kid like they're mine. I don't want to go out there and just be like, okay, we're here. Let's just go through the fun. I want to go through the fundamentals, but I want the kids to learn, and I am hard on them. I'm not gonna lie about that. A lot of parents are pretty good with that. But my deal is, like I said, I do it all volunteer, and I just don't want to go out and waste my time just to run a baseball game. I want the kids to learn, whether they obviously I'm going to lose some of them. They're going to move up because of their age, but that's something I can keep in touch with them. And it's a fun thing to see them progress and just keep advancing into baseball and other sports and growing into great young men.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Coach. One of the things that, as a coach myself, that and I couldn't agree with you more, is the idea that if you're going to go out for a particular sport, give it everything you got. Come in there focused, be ready to practice. Give it your best every day. Otherwise, you might as well just hang out some other place. But like you say, when you step across those lines onto any athletic field, it was Bobby Knight or Paterno said, the will to prepare to win is more important than the will to win. And really, you got to balance that with the life lessons. By the same token, you want to be as best you can, because we do live in a competitive society, whether people want to realize it or not. So, so what's your thoughts as far as competition and, becoming the best you can?
Oh, absolutely. The competition is, like I said, I graduated in 95, and these kids that I play all year long now are just above everybody else. There's no doubt. You can tell I'm not putting the parent down that just doesn't have time for their kids to go out and throw every night or pitch every night, but you can definitely tell the parents and the kids that put a lot of time in compared to the ones that just come to practice and then they go home and play a game. It's definitely a lot to learn. I know my youngest is struggling right now hitting, and I'm the coach, and you think they should go out and just hit. We're just having a timing issue. Mm-hmm. And that's where our other coach that for the All-Stars now, he's helping out, which I'm open for everybody to help. I'm not the coach that just says I'm the boss. Step back, let me run the show. I like other coaches stepping in, because there's always another eye or another opinion that could help. And that's just not just parents' kids, that's my kids as well.
Sure. And well, a lot of times you're already seen this already, Coach, is that sometimes when you have another adult kind of redirect or help your kid along for whatever reason, they'll listen to that other person. Whereas us as the immediate family or whatever, we're almost too close to them. So that's the one thing I've really noticed about you, is that you do, care a great deal about the kids. And that goes along with my cardinal coaching rule, is far and away the most important is the rapport and how you handle the kids. And then what as a coach, how well you transfer what you coach to the kid, and how you hold or glue the team together with good communication. But that rapport you have with the kids, if a kid's out there giving it all he's got, and he makes a mistake of action, hey, that's okay. You went for it, and something didn't exactly go how you wanted it. But the idea of just being frozen in fear is never a good thing. So I would think you'd probably, agree or think about similar ideas there as well.
Yeah, I definitely have a group of kids. Like I said, they've been with me for a while. I know it's going to probably split up here sooner or later. But like I said, I know their parents, and I'm not going to lie, I am hard on them. Because I know they can play, and I expect it out of them. Just like our practices, I do understand the age group. We did move up to 10U this year and did play 10U, same as Griff. And it is a difference. There's no doubt there's a difference. I mean, Griff's a good ball player. He's a big kid. But when you get a nice size 10-year-old, it's just night and day. We did have a little struggle in this year with our team in hitting, and we did come alive the last 2 games. I was hard on my kids, just because I know they can do it. But there is definitely that age difference. Now we are playing the 8U tournament this next weekend, and we played one just past weekend, and I think the kids are coming alive and doing real well. And like I said, I definitely expected out of them, because us coaches, our other coach Matt Roth, there's a lot more to coaching, and obviously, as you well as know from tennis, than just showing up there for a match or a game. There's a lot of behind scenes that it's just never ends. I mean, Matt and I were on the phone for 2 hours after our tournament, just thinking what we can do differently, what we can do better. Wish we would have had this situation again. And you just got to try to get every, best moment as you can.
Sure. Well, and actually my sports background, besides doing some tennis, was a whole lot of years of coaching wrestling. So it's, you better make sure, unless you're into counting the lights and embarrassing yourself when you go out on the mat, you better make sure you prepare. And even when you do that, if you get, overmatched, it's still going to happen against you. But I've watched
Yes.
how you conduct your practices, coach, and I've been very, very impressed with you and the other guys there. You say you're kind of hard on the kids or what. I don't know. I don't see it that way. I see that you guys are, you're firm but fair, expecting them to, give the best they can. And hey, if they got to be barked at a little bit if they're not paying attention, well, they got to come back and stay with you on kind of on the same page, because again, that muscle memory, that action reaction that you need in sport requires them to be paying good attention while you're trying to work with them and everything. What advice, coach, would you give to younger kids, or even let's say kids that are middle school, high school, whatever, as far as going forward about the benefits of sports or any kind of extracurricular activities in school, sports, band, music, etc.?
Yeah, we had a kid this year as well. He signed up a little late. He is 8, never played baseball before, and jumping into 10U was not the right position for him. But we took him under our wing. I know his father. We did agree to, we just can't let the kid get frustrated. But it was either jump in with us or skip out of a season of baseball. That's not going to help him at the end of the day either. And that's just like any sport, whether it's football, tennis, soccer, whatever. I don't care if you're 5 years old or 15, it's if you want to jump in, jump in. You can't take it with you and wish you did. I know a lot of kids get to the point, well, I'm 10 and these kids already been playing for 5 years. I'm not going to say there's not going to be a difference. There is. I mean, my youngest is 7. He just turned 7 in January. My oldest is 8, and he turned 8 in January. And there's a difference between my 7-year-old and some 7-year-olds that are playing down. But my kid's been playing now for 3-4 years, and he's still 7. So, like I said, back to the other kid that came out this year, his dad called me the other day and said, he didn't hit that well this year, which again, we weren't really expecting it because he never played baseball. And then stepping in to having a kid 9-10 years old throwing pretty fast at you, it is intimidating. There's no doubt. But he did grow, and his dad's getting lessons, and he did try football and didn't, I guess, like it. Now he loves baseball. So at the end of the day, that makes me feel good. I feel like we, the stats weren't there that you want, but at the end of the day, we took a kid that never played baseball, didn't really know if even how to. I remember coming to the practice the first day, didn't even know how to put his glove on which hand. He didn't know if he threw right hand or left handed. And like I said, at the end of the day, sometimes the stats don't really matter. It's the kid now he wants to play baseball. And he found his sport, and he is young. That could change next year, but he found a sport, and hopefully he sticks with it and moves along. Sure.
Well, I give both the kid and the dad a lot of credit, because it's the type of thing, and I've said this to enough kids, a lot of truth in the matter, in order to get good at something, you got to be willing to be bad at it in the beginning. None of us came out of the womb walking or running or anything like that. It was a process. And it's the same idea as far as sports are concerned. Obviously, kids that start out at a younger age, assuming they've got good coaching from the jump, are going to have an advantage. But you see this all the time where all of a sudden the kid hits that spurt, and if they've got some innate God-given talent, that they do make that jump. Especially if they're dedicated. And that's what I always look for is that desire, that fire on the inside. And if you've got that fire, we can make an athlete out of you to some level or another. And I think that's really the key, because we as coaches, we can't give them that desire. That they've got to bring that themselves.
Yes, that's the main key. And at this age, the kids are starting to really to develop now. Like, it's not, like I said, I know I coached more younger kids. I know some of the older coaches are doing 10U, 12U, high school coaches and stuff like that. And what we're noticing a lot now, the kids are starting to really come out of their shell at this age. Like T-ball, okay, everybody gets to pitch, everybody gets to catch, everybody gets to do this. Some of the kids are hard to explain that, you're just not a pitcher, maybe just keep practicing. And like I said, I'm not trying to be mean to no kid. My youngest wants to pitch and my oldest does pitch. And it's just one has it and one doesn't. That doesn't mean he doesn't have it. He just got to keep practicing and maybe they'll come around to him. Sure. But at this age, you're starting to see, just like Griff. I mean, Griff's a pitcher, Griff's a third baseman, and you can pretty much move Griff anywhere as well. But he's awesome at third. He's awesome at pitching.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good lessons from a number of people and everything. His dad spent a lot of time with him out in the backyard. I've spent a lot of time with he and his brother Wyatt and Beckham, the younger guy. And so it's not an accident. The great thing about Griff is that not only he really reminds me of a teenager in a lot of ways. He's got the talent, and he's got the drive, which at that age is kind of unusual. Sometimes you'll see talent without the drive, or vice versa. But yeah, he keeps working at it. He's going to be, I think he's going to be pretty good. Any last second thoughts, Coach, before we kind of conclude here?
No, we are going to start. I know I do coach our MTAA, and one good thing that we are working on, our president is the Central High School baseball coach. And he is really understanding what's going on over MTAA and other organizations. And he's in the works of, I just saw something fly out on an email. We're going to be starting a travel ball league over there, which that's a plus. I know a lot of the more advanced kids they just want to play travel ball, and they are like going to different organizations like the Gamers and stuff like that. And we're losing kids like that. So I think the coach is putting a lot of time into this, and I think getting travel league ball over there is definitely going to bring the kids in, just like Griff as well. I know Griff, moves up to the Patriots a little bit. So hopefully we get this in here, and we'll keep people like that here.
Yeah, for sure. And certainly think that would be a good thing. And ironically, we were over at the Rev Stadium the other night watching Redland take on Mannheim. Wow, that turned into a great game. And that Redland group, I think they got 6 or 7 guys that are going D1, and they got this Benny Montgomery that's actually ranked like number 16 and by the MLB scouts. I mean, they are loaded with some really good kids up there. Well, and the Wagner guy, one of the heroes from the Little League World Series. I know I'm preaching to the choir to you. You're familiar with all those kids.
Nope, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah, so it was a great game the other night. Well, Coach, this has been fantastic. If you could hang on till we get finished here, or right after we get finished, I'd like to talk to you for a second, and appreciate this very, very much. That was great.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.